Did you know that the Beatles' Yesterday holds the record for the most covered song in history? Yes, you heard it right. We're kicking off this journey down memory lane with a bang, diving right into the heart of Beatlemania. The Beatles, the name itself is enough to evoke a sense of nostalgia and wonder. But today we're not just strolling down Abbey Road, we're peeling back the layers of this iconic band, revealing 10 astonishing facts you might have never heard before. Our first stop, the Beatles' timeless classic, Yesterday. This legendary track has been recorded by an array of artists from Elvis Presley to Frank Sinatra, Boyz II Men to Marianne Faithfull. It's been interpreted in various styles, from rock and roll to jazz, country to classical, and even reggae. The song has been covered so many times that it's impossible to keep count, but estimates suggest that there are over 3,000 versions in different languages. Now that's what we call a global sensation. But it's not just the sheer number of covers that makes Yesterday stand out. It's the fact that this song, penned by Paul McCartney, has transcended boundaries of language, culture, and time. It's a testament to the universal appeal of the Beatles, their knack for creating melodies that resonate with people across the world, and their ability to capture the essence of human emotion in their lyrics. So the next time you hear a rendition of Yesterday, whether it's in a bustling cafe, on a late-night radio show, or during a quiet moment at home, remember this: you're not just listening to a song. You're part of a global phenomenon, a testament to the enduring legacy of the Beatles. You're experiencing a piece of music history, a melody that has echoed through the ages, touching the hearts of millions. So, next time you hear a rendition of Yesterday, you'll know you're part of a global phenomenon. The Beatles were not always the Beatles. Yes, you heard that right. This iconic band that shook the world with their music wasn't always known by the name we all recognize today. In their early days, they experimented with a few different names, trying to find the one that would stick. They started off as Johnny and the Moondogs, a name that didn't quite capture their unique sound and energy. So they decided to try something new. They became the Quarrymen, a name that reflected their roots in Liverpool, a city known for its quarries. But as they evolved, so did their name. They wanted something that represented their music, their camaraderie, and their ambition. And so they finally settled on the Beatles, a name that would eventually become synonymous with rock and roll and pop culture. Imagine if they stuck with the Quarrymen. Would they have been as iconic? Who knows? The Beatles didn't know how to read music. Now that's a statement that might have you doing a double take. Yes, you heard it right. None of the Beatles, the legendary band that reshaped the music industry and captured the hearts of millions around the globe, could actually read music. John, Paul, George, and Ringo, they didn't need sheets of music or the ability to decipher the cryptic language of musical notation. Instead, they relied on their ears, their intuition, their innate musicality. They composed their songs by listening, by feeling, by experiencing the music. From the iconic opening chords of A Hard Day's Night to the haunting melody of Eleanor Rigby, they created these unforgettable tunes without ever knowing how to formally read music. It's a testament to their extraordinary talent and a reminder that creativity often transcends traditional boundaries. And yet, they managed to create some of the most memorable tunes in history. The Beatles' first contract was far from lucrative. Can you believe that? These legends of rock, these titans of the music industry, essentially started their journey earning pennies. When they signed their first contract with Brian Epstein, their manager, they were paid a measly £1 per member for each concert. That's right, folks, £1. To put that into perspective, that's like you or me working a full day and getting a single dollar bill as payment. It's a far cry from the riches they'd later amass. But it's a classic tale of humble beginnings, isn't it? The Beatles, like so many great artists before and after them, started at the bottom. They played their hearts out for next to nothing, fueled by passion and the hope of a brighter future. So next time you listen to Hey Jude or Let It Be, remember this: the Beatles weren't always the superstars we know today. They started out just like everyone else. Talk about humble beginnings. The Beatles were once banned from the Philippines. Now there's a sentence you don't hear every day. It all kicked off when the Fab Four unintentionally snubbed a breakfast invitation from Imelda Marcos, the First Lady of the Philippines. The Beatles, in the throes of their 1966 Asian tour, were unaware of the social faux pas they were committing. In their defense, they were probably just hoping to grab a few extra minutes of sleep, but the slight was taken seriously, very seriously. The Beatles were declared persona non grata and their music was banned. The situation escalated to such a degree that the band had to make a hasty exit, leaving behind their earnings from their concert in Manila. It was a misunderstanding that caused a countrywide uproar, and it all stemmed from a missed breakfast invitation. A breakfast invitation gone wrong and the Beatles' music was banned. Talk about a hard day's night. The Beatles were once a five-man band. Yes, you heard that right. Before achieving worldwide acclaim as a quartet, there was a fifth Beatle, Stuart Sutcliffe, who played bass. Stuart was a close friend of John Lennon from their art school days. In fact, it was Lennon who convinced Stuart to buy a bass guitar with the money he won from an art competition. Stuart was more of an artist than a musician, and his skills on the bass were rather basic. He was often turned with his back to the audience in live performances to hide his limited playing ability. Despite this, his influence on the band, especially their style, was significant. He is credited for coming up with the band's name, The Beatles, and for their iconic Beatle haircut. In 1961, Stuart decided to leave the band to continue his art career in Germany, leaving the Beatles as the four-man band we know today. The Beatles as a five-man band, can you imagine? The Beatles' iconic logo was a happy accident. Now, how does something as distinctive as the Beatles' drop T logo come to be by chance? Well, it's quite the tale. When the band first started out, they didn't have a logo. They just had their Ludwig drums and a dream. But then, a London drum shop owner named Ivor Arbiter came into the picture. He agreed to give the band a discount on a new drum kit, but there was a catch. He insisted on putting the name of his shop on the drum head. The Beatles agreed, but on one condition. Their name had to be larger, and so Arbiter sketched out a design. He made the B larger to emphasize the beat in Beatles, and dropped the T to balance it out. And just like that, the iconic drop T logo was born. A happy accident that created one of the most recognizable logos in music history. The Beatles had a secret member. Yes, you heard that right. Let's dive into the thrilling tale of Billy Preston, a keyboardist who left an indelible mark on several Beatles tracks. Despite his significant contributions, Billy was never officially recognized as a member of the band. Born in Texas, Billy was a child prodigy, playing the organ in church and sharing the stage with legends like Mahalia Jackson. His talent didn't go unnoticed, and soon he was rubbing shoulders with the Beatles. During the tumultuous recording of Let It Be, Billy's keyboard magic brought a fresh vibe, easing the band's tension. His soulful playing can also be heard on Get Back, where his electric piano gives the song its distinct sound. Billy Preston's story is a fascinating one. He was a crucial part of the Beatles' journey, yet he remained in the shadows. He was the secret ingredient, the silent contributor, the unseen force. Billy Preston, the fifth Beatle that never was. The Beatles' A Hard Day's Night was written overnight. Now, if that isn't an impressive testament to the genius of this dynamic duo, I don't know what is. Picture this: John Lennon and Paul McCartney, the heart and soul of the Beatles, toiling away into the wee hours of the morning, crafting lyrics and melodies that would soon become a chart-topping hit. It was a single night of intense creativity. The two artists, fueled by their shared passion and unparalleled talent, masterminded a musical masterpiece in mere hours. And no, it wasn't a fluke. The song, A Hard Day's Night, went on to become a #1 hit in the UK and the US, and it remains an iconic Beatles track to this day. So when you find yourself humming along to A Hard Day's Night, remember the incredible story of its creation. It's a remarkable testament to the creative prowess of John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Who else can write a hit song in a single night? The Beatles have never had a #1 single in the UK on Christmas. Now, isn't that a surprising revelation? The Beatles, a band with a record 27 #1 hits in the US and 17 in the UK, but never once did they top the UK charts at Christmas. It's a bit of an enigma, really, considering their immense popularity and success. In the height of Beatlemania, their music was ubiquitous. They were the soundtrack of an era, the voice of a generation. Yet, amidst the festive cheer and the jingle of holiday tunes, a Beatles #1 remained elusive. It's a quirky fact, a little nugget of trivia that adds to the mystique of the band. It's a reminder that even the biggest phenomenon on the planet can still hold surprises. It's the cherry on top of our list of unbelievable Beatles facts. The Beatles, the band that conquered the world but never Christmas.